In 1972, two kids were playing, having the time of their lives. Suddenly, their marble ball slips from their hands and rolls into another flat. Being kids, they naturally chase after it. As they pick up the marble, a woman in white clothes tumbles from a chair. Plot twist. She's been dead for years, but apparently nobody told her. Fast forward 4 years, and a new family moves into that same flat, the one where the dead woman once lived. This family bought the flat with a loan, so both the husband and wife had to work to pay it off, leaving their eldest daughter, Amparo, at home to look after her younger brother, Rafael, and their grandfather. One day, Amparo was changing Rafael's clothes when, out of nowhere, their grandfather just vanished. Naturally, Amparo freaks out and abandons Rafael to search for him. You know it's serious when you leave a kid half-dressed, right? Turns out, Grandpa was chilling in the washroom. Amparo, relieved, follows him in there. But then, bam, all the windows slam shut. She yells for her parents like it's the end of the world. Her parents come rushing in, open the door, and pull her out. Crisis averted, right? Wrong. They head to Rafael's room next, where they find him dangerously swinging from the window like he's auditioning for a stunt double. Honestly, this kid is one fall away from turning into a pancake. His dad swoops in, grabs him, and safely brings him inside. Then, of course, it's time to blame Amparo. Her dad scolds her while she tries to explain that Grandpa vanished. The washroom door slams shut and, oh yeah, she saw a devil's foot. But do her parents believe her? Nope. They just dismiss her, as if she's making it all up. Because, obviously, ghosts and devils are so last season. Meanwhile, Amparo's other brother finds a mysterious letter on the railing outside his window. It's got a girl's name on it, and he, being the hopeless romantic he is, assumes the girl wants to be his friend. So, he writes his name on another letter, leaves it on the same railing, and waits like some lovesick puppy for her to respond. Spoiler alert, she's not coming, dude. It's a ghost, get a clue. While he's busy playing postal service with a spirit, Rafael was drawing in his room. Amparo, on her usual find Grandpa mission, warns Rafael not to move. But as soon as she leaves, Rafael hears a marble ball rolling nearby. Of course, because when ghosts play, they use marbles. Classic ghost move. Rafael picks it up and hears a sound coming from the TV in the next room. On the screen, an old cartoon calls out to him. Being a clueless kid, Rafael approaches the TV. Before he knows it, a ghost pulls him right into the screen. That's right. Who needs Netflix when you can be part of the show? Meanwhile, Amparo finds her wandering grandfather on the street. When she finally gets him home, he refuses to go inside, claiming that the woman in the house is going to kill them all. Oh great. Now even Grandpa's in on the spooky conspiracy. Amparo drags him in anyway, but when they return, Rafael's gone. Panicked, the family calls the police. Amparo's parents even go out searching for Rafael, while Amparo's left wondering why she ever signed up for babysitting duty in a haunted house. Amparo was home alone when the phone rang. She picked it up, and to her surprise, it was Rafael. She asked him where he was, but the poor kid had no idea. As they were talking, she suddenly heard his voice coming from a nearby flat. Because clearly, Rafael has mastered the art of being both on the phone and in random creepy flats at the same time. Amparo quickly left the phone and rushed over to the flat, banging on the door like her life depended on it. Just then, a man from the building strolled by and casually mentioned, "Oh, that flat hasn't been opened in years." Thanks, dude. Great timing. Why not mention that earlier? By this time, Amparo's parents and brother had arrived, and she told them she heard Rafael's voice from inside. They broke the lock and went in. As they searched for Rafael, Amparo came to a room where she saw a small child's shadow behind a curtain. Naturally, she moved closer, but the shadow started to grow. Because, that's always a good sign. Nothing creepy about giant shadows, right? When she pulled the curtain back, a witch with long, spooky hair stood there. Amparo screamed like she'd just seen her worst nightmare, which, to be fair, she probably had. Her family rushed in and tried to calm her down, but when her dad looked out the window, the witch was gone. Typical ghost behavior, always disappearing at the worst moments. The next day, while Amparo's mom was at work, a paralyzed woman entered the shop as a customer. The woman started whistling at her, which, naturally, made Amparo's mom feel super uncomfortable. Because really, who wouldn't feel weird if someone who's supposedly paralyzed starts whistling at you? Amparo's mom approached her, and then the woman's mother appeared, explaining that her daughter couldn't speak. Despite this, the paralyzed woman communicated something to her mom, who then handed a card to Amparo's mom and said, "Keep this with you. It will help." Oh great, now we're handing out business cards like we're in a horror movie survival club. Meanwhile, back at home, Amparo's elder brother received yet another mysterious letter from the other building. This time, he was determined to figure out who was sending them. So, he went over to the building, only to have a girl hug him from behind, holding a candle in one hand and standing in front of a mirror. Because nothing says normal like a random hug from a candle-wielding stranger in front of a mirror. When he looked at her in the mirror, he realized her feet were twisted. And that's when you know you've got a full-blown ghost situation on your hands. The girl, who turned out to be a witch, tried to attack him, but he wasn't having any of it. With surprising agility, he picked her up and tossed her aside, then sprinted out of there like his life depended on it. Props to the kid for not becoming the latest horror movie victim. Back at home, Amparo was dealing with her own problems. She suddenly had a stomachache and noticed strange marks all over her stomach. But, of course, in classic Amparo style, she shrugged it off like, must be an allergy. She then went to the kitchen to put away some vegetables, but saw something strange through the kitchen door. Some weird creature was cooking up a storm in there. Amparo flung the door open, only to discover it was her grandfather. She tried talking to him, but he was now speaking in Raphael's voice. Because clearly, her family is into voice impersonations these days. At that exact moment, the phone rang again. Amparo picked it up, and surprise, it was Raphael again. As before, she heard Raphael's voice coming from the nearby flat. So, she rushed over, opened the door, and finally found her brother inside the same flat. Because let's be real, this whole ghost chase was basically a supernatural game of hide and seek. The whole family was freaked out by everything that had happened. Raphael and Amparo's mom told her husband, "We're not staying here anymore. We're leaving this house." But her husband, ever the practical one, said, "No way. We took out a huge bank loan to buy this house. We can't just leave, right? Because what's a few ghosts compared to a mortgage, right? Priorities, man." That night, things took an even creepier turn. As Amparo walked into her room, all the doors slammed shut and the lights went out. She screamed loud enough to wake the dead, no pun intended. Her parents rushed in, only to see a massive, terrifying ghost hand reaching for Amparo. Yup, a big ghost hand. Because obviously, regular-sized ghost hands are so last century. Her dad jumped in, saved Amparo, and moved her away from the hand. That was the final straw. They finally believed there was a ghost in the house, and they weren't about to stick around anymore. Took them long enough to realize the house was haunted, right? Like the giant ghost hand wasn't enough of a clue. Raphael and Amparo's dad packed everyone up and took them to a hotel. They spent the whole night praying to get rid of the spirit living in their house. The next day, the bank called Amparo's parents, demanding that they repay the loan ASAP. Her dad started calling his friends to scrape together the money, but no luck. To make matters worse, he hadn't been to the office in 2 days, so he got fired. Because, getting haunted and losing your job is just a double whammy of bad luck. Tired and desperate, Amparo's mom decided to visit the paralyzed lady who had given her that mysterious card. She told her everything that was happening in the house. The woman and her mom responded, "We already knew what was going to happen." "Oh, of course. Thanks for the heads up, ladies. Really helpful after the fact." They went to check out Amparo's house, and Amparo also went to meet them there. The paralyzed woman started explaining her own story. She said, "When we lived in that house, I had a family, my son and my husband. But what we didn't know was that my son was transgender. Even though he was born a boy, he always wanted to be a girl. His dad didn't accept this and would lock him in the basement out of anger. Over time, my son's behavior didn't change. He started acting more and more like a woman. He wanted to be a mother. So eventually, we locked him down there and left. He died in agony, and ever since, his soul has been wandering in that house. Turns out, this ghost wanted to fulfill his desire to be a mother, which is why he had been writing letters to Amparo's brother, trying to lure him into the house. And despite getting the chance, he hadn't harmed Amparo because, surprise, Amparo was pregnant. Guess the ghost had a soft spot for mothers-to-be. Who knew spirits could be so considerate? Amparo, horrified by the story, rushed home. By then, her mom had already brought the paralyzed woman over. The ghost took over the woman's body and went on the attack, trying to kill everyone. But Amparo, thinking fast, grabbed a piece of glass and threatened, "If you don't leave us alone, I'll kill this child." Hearing this, the ghost paused. Amparo repeated her threat, "I know you want this child. If you don't leave us, I'll end it." The ghost, now emotional, seemed to calm down. Because nothing gets through to a ghost like some hardcore negotiation, right? At this moment, Amparo's dad sprang into action. He climbed on top of the possessed woman and threw both of them out of the window. He died from the fall, but the ghost still wasn't finished. Of course, ghosts don't play by the same rules. After her husband's death, Amparo's mom received all the money from his life insurance policy. With that money, she paid off the bank loan on the house, packed up her family, and left for good. So in the end, the ghost didn't kill them, but the bank almost did. The story ends with the ghost still locked in that house, wandering in one of the rooms. Looks like the mortgage payments were scarier than the ghost after all.
Yo, pack your bags, Olmedo fam on the move. Leaving the village, Madrid's got something new. 32, Malasaña, feel the tension in the air, but they ain't know what nightmares waiting up the stairs. New apartment, trying to start fresh, but these walls got a vibe, a feeling of death. Mama saying, it's all in your head, it's alright, but the ghost in the room's about to haunt him tonight. Raphael's hearing whispers, and Peril feels the chill. Granddad's acting strange like the house wants to kill. Father stressed about loans, trying to play it cool, but little did he know, this house ain't no fool. Into Malasaña, you can run but can't hide. Spirits in the walls, ready for a ride. Darkness creeping in, messing with their minds. In the heart of Madrid, terror's what you'll find. To Malasaña, welcome to the trap where the dead don't sleep and they're ready to attack. This ain't no dream, it's a twisted reality. Olmedo family stuck in a haunted tragedy. Night falls heavy, door slam with no breeze. Lights flicker off, then you hear distant screams. Mama tripping, we gotta leave this place. Dad says, nah, we can't, bank's all up in my face.
Yeah man, good luck explaining that to a ghost.
And Peril sees a shadow,
And not the cute kind.
it's stretching tall, playing tricks on her mind. A giant hand creeping, her heart starts to race. Her dad jumps in, barely saves her from that space. Ghosts getting bold, no place left to run. Locked in a nightmare, the horror's just begun. And Raphael's lost, calling from the unknown, but his voice echoes like it ain't his zone. To Malasaña, you can run but can't hide. Spirits in the walls, ready for a ride. Darkness creeping in, messing with their minds. In the heart of Madrid, terror's what you'll find. To Malasaña, welcome to the trap where the dead don't sleep and they're ready to attack. This ain't no dream, it's a twisted reality. Olmedo family stuck in a haunted tragedy. Ghosts want revenge, spirits got a plan. Lock you in the game, watch you fall where you stand. Mom's praying hard, dad's losing control, running from the spirit that wants their soul. The witch in the shadows, the letters on the rail. A transgender ghost with a tragic tale. Locked in a basement, dying to be free. Now the spirit's back, hungry for a family.
Life insurance kicks in, dad falls from the ledge, but the spirit still lurks, leaving them on edge. Mama cashes out, pays off that loan, but 32 Malasaña's now the ghost throne. They left the house, but it ain't no win. Ghosts don't care about your money or your sin. It's a curse, trapped in bricks and mortar tight, and the Olmedo fam won't forget that night. 32 Malasaña, you can run but can't hide. Spirits in the walls, ready for a ride. Darkness creeping in, messing with their minds. In the heart of Madrid, terror's what you'll find. They left the house, but it ain't no win. Ghosts don't care about your money or your sin. It's a curse, trapped in bricks and mortar tight, and the Olmedo fam won't forget that night.
Olmedo family, stuck in a haunted tragedy.